Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to collect leaf litter for a terrarium or a vivarium that you're making, or for anything where you need like leaf litter for raising bugs or insects, or even as like maybe tank decor. So one of the reasons why you want to collect leaf litter from an area like a forest, for example, instead of maybe in your backyard or on the side of the road, is because in the forest there's a lower chance that there's going to be things like pesticides and herbicides that can negatively affect the kind of biology that you want to be fostering inside of the terrarium that you are working with. Now, in terms of the supplies that you need to collect leaf litter, it's not a lot. Well, you obviously need like a bag, maybe like a tote bag or a plastic bag can work for collecting the leaf litter or any other things that you want to bring. So like bark, sticks, maybe rocks. And I recommend bringing a pair of gloves. The reason for the gloves is because, if there's poisonous plants, you don't want to be touching that. And if you're not good at identifying poisonous plants like poison ivy, then it's probably safer to just use gloves when you're out collecting leaf litter. And then also if there's any like little critters in the leaves that might bite you or anything, this just reduces the chance of that happening. Now, basically all you're going to want to do is just find a nice spot in the forest where there's not a lot of poisonous plants, or if you're just, if you don't know how to identify those, just pick anywhere that's kind of bare. And then you're just going to start kind of picking up leaf litter and collecting it in a bag. And one other thing that I like to do is whenever I pick up leaf litter, I like to shake it off a bit just to get off any like little bugs that are hiding in the leaves, because I don't want to bake them later when I'm treating the leaves that I'm going to be using. One other thing that you can do is that when you're collecting leaf litter, you can keep moving your location just so that you can get a nice variety of leaves for your terrariums or whatever. And then it's just so that you don't over harvest a single spot and then leave it there. So it's better to take from like multiple locations versus a single one in the forest. And I'm actually going to grab a piece of bark as well. I just got this off of a dead tree trunk. Looks like birch bark and it looks nice. One thing that you want to do is if you're ever going to be taking bark, because it lasts longer than a leaf and it doesn't really get decomposed by your animals, is just take it from the trees that are on the ground. Don't rip bark off of living trees, because you can end up girdling and killing the trees. So yeah, use dead bark. And here I am with a dead rotting log. And since I really like adding volume to my terrariums, leaves or bark doesn't really cut it because they're usually very flat. So I like taking kind of like big chunks of rotting wood to kind of spruce up and liven up the landscape of the tank. So you'll find, just like a dead rotting log like this, you kind of just crack it open, right? You can shake it off a little bit, and then just put it inside of your collecting bag. These pieces of bark are also really good for adding volume to your tank, kind of adding a diversity of scenery, some elevation, because this bark has lots of like little holes in it left behind by little critters that decompose wood. So there's lots of natural hiding spots for your bugs or other things to hide in when you put it in your tank. And of course, we'll treat this later to make sure that there's no hitchhikers inside. And then now, with all of the things that you've collected, so I have some leaf litter and some bark in here, I'm gonna take it home now, and then I'll show you guys how to treat it so that you can get rid of any critters inside, so that they're nice and sterilized, or maybe de-infested for your terrariums or whatever other purposes that you want to use leaf litter or bark for. So I've left my leaf litter out in a bag overnight, just kind of sitting on its side. And I'm going to go take it inside now because I'm just assuming if there are any bugs inside, they would have left. Now all I'm doing in this clip is taking leaf litter out of the bag and placing it on a baking sheet so that I can oven dry the leaves and the bark or anything I brought from the forest. Now what I'm doing here is baking the leaves at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. That temperature should be enough to kill any like fungi or insects or whatever that's on the leaf litter or bark. And it should still be low enough that it won't ignite in the oven. But just to be safe, make sure that you're always near the oven while you're baking the leaves. Now, after 1 or 2 hours in the oven, or until all of the leaves and bark is dry, that should be enough to sterilize all of your material. So now you can just take it out of the oven and let it cool down for a little bit, and then you can go pack it up or add it to your terrariums once it's cooled down. Now here I have the finished and sterilized leaf litter placed inside one of my isopod bins. And this kind of shows you what it could look like when you use leaf litter from outside. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.